From WFRV TV Local 5, your local election headquarters, this is Newsmaker Sunday with your host, Tom Zaleski.
Good morning. Welcome to Newsmaker Sunday. I'm Tom Zaleski. Republican Rachael Cabral-Guevara faces Democrat Dan Sherrill for the State Assembly District number 55 seat vacated by Mike Rohrcast. And today we talk with Cabral-Guevara. She is a native of Appleton and raised in the Air Force, giving her the opportunity to live in places all across the country. She returned to Wisconsin to attend college, where she earned several degrees, including a master's in nursing from UW-Milwaukee. And today she works as a board-certified family nurse practitioner. And we welcome Rachael Cabral-Guevara to Newsmaker Sunday. Thanks so much for joining us. And I know this is a busy, busy day for you. Beside politics, which we will get into just momentarily, let me ask you, what do you see out there on the front lines in your profession?
So I am a nurse practitioner and I do primary care. So currently, I know we talk a lot about COVID nowadays. It's been kind of interesting at my clinic. I'm not seeing as much COVID as I am seeing more occupational health kind of cases. So people trying to get back to work, pre-employment physicals and so forth. So for me, my arena is a little bit different currently than some of the larger systems in the area who are battling the COVID bit a little bit more than I am.
Somewhat of a good sign, though, if people are getting physicals to come back to work.
Yes, very much so. Increase in physicals, increase in drug testing. People are looking for jobs. They're getting out there, and that's really positive for me, especially with the economy being as challenging as it is, as so many people closing down a little bit. So it's been surprising, but I'm very, very excited.
Turning to the medical field, you call for transparency in the medical field, especially when it comes to the cost of drugs and the cost of treatments. If you were in the state assembly, what could you do to affect that?
Yeah, great question. So some of the things that I do at my clinic in Fox Crossing are provide transparency already. And it's one thing I'm pushing for. Across our state, across our country, we should be having transparency in pricing. How much is that scan? How much is that lab? How much is that office visit? When people come into my clinic, they know that. It brings down pricing because they can shop around. They know what they're paying for. Across our state, another thing that I guess I hope to address is some of the limitations that nurse practitioners have in our state of Wisconsin. In our state, we do have some statutes that prevent nurse practitioners from working independently as well as owning their own businesses. When you have those in place, it makes it hard for somebody such as myself to open up a clinic somewhere else across the state to provide accessibility as well as affordability within healthcare. Nurse practitioners traditionally don't make as much as maybe physicians. Independent clinics might be charging a little bit less than the large systems. And so bringing some of our statutes and our laws a little bit more into the public view and maybe eliminating them, I'm hoping, and I have done in my profession, in my clinic, will provide that affordability that I think is really lacking right now in healthcare. Can be done. I'm doing it. Other people across our country are doing it. We just need to look at things a little bit differently.
Also, on your campaign website, you mentioned helping those with mental illness as a top priority.
Yes.
Explain the problem that we have in Wisconsin. How big of an issue is this?
It's a big issue. My family is directly impacted by individuals that struggle with mental health. And biggest, accessibility. Getting in to visit folks that might be able to help with counseling services as well as prescribing of medications. Right now, to get into a psychiatrist or a mental health nurse practitioner, very, very difficult. And so what kind of things can we also be doing, thinking outside the box a little bit to bring that accessibility to people? As I call around the valley, for some of my patients who have been struggling with particularly anxiety and depression linked to COVID. Maybe they lost their jobs, or maybe they're, have anxiety, issues, OCD issues. People are really struggling. The numbers that I'm seeing for depression and anxiety are increasing. So as I call around and try to get them into specialty, very, very difficult. Unless you're part of that system, some systems won't even see them. If I can get them in with an independent, you're looking sometimes 3 or 4 months to get people in for mental health services. Very challenging. So are there other programs that maybe we can assist to get folks through programs maybe a little bit quicker, or maybe get providers that can access different resources such as telemedicine to offer services where that might be more accessible to people in rural areas that are struggling with mental health. Again, we need to be thinking outside the box. COVID or no COVID, particularly with mental health. If you don't address the mental health issues, you're going to have people having struggles within their homes, their families, within their marriages. You're going to be having people struggling at work. Again, going back to COVID, the amount of depression, substance abuse that I'm seeing skyrocketing because of folks that aren't getting these problems addressed. Incarceration rates, they're also going to go up with people that aren't able to get their medications reassessed. So, extremely important that mental health needs to be addressed, and again, thinking outside the box.
And with mental health issues, we don't have 3 or 4 months. If you need help, you need it in 4 minutes.
I can share stories with you.
Yeah.
You know, I can share stories with you with patients that might have gone to a psychiatrist. They got their medications changed. Their medications aren't working as well. You know, they changed the dosing, they changed the different medication. They need to be reassessed. You call and say, hey, I have this person struggling, they need to get in. Oh, it's going to be at least a month, 2 months. In that amount of time, that person slips. Maybe they become psychotic, maybe they become abusive, depressed, not getting out of their bed, not eating, and then it snowballs. It snowballs.
Right.
So definitely when you're talking about 3 or 4 months to get to see a psychiatrist or somebody that can prescribe medications, not acceptable, particularly in mental health. We wouldn't do that if somebody was having a heart attack. We wouldn't do that if somebody was having a reaction to a different medication. They get in. Why does it have to be 3 or 4 months for somebody to get in to get their psych meds adjusted so that they can stay stable, keep their job, keep their relationships, be safe for their families?
Yeah.
Difficult situation.
You are also big on investment in education, but you say that doesn't mean throwing money at something and turning the other way.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that statement?
So I have taught at the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh and the College of Nursing for 13 years. This semester I did resign, which I'm very sad about, but because of my clinic and because of the campaign route and so forth, I haven't been able to provide as much, I just couldn't do that also. I couldn't keep it on my plate. So what I mean by that is over the 13 years, I saw students start to struggle. Okay, I saw students start to struggle a little bit more, and a little bit more. But at the same time, the more that I get into the world of politics and start looking at the numbers, I see that we are providing more and more funding, which I don't have a problem with. What I have a problem with, though, is if we're putting more funding into our systems, shouldn't we be seeing better outcomes with our students? And so I'm asking that when funding goes out, we just have some sort of
a barometer.
A barometer of sorts. And I know that there's testing out there and so forth. There's flaws in everything. But why am I seeing the end product and seeing people struggling with doing dosing calculations or how to use a comma? These are basic things. So some of the things that I have thought might be great opportunities, again, having worked at a university for 13 years, are we putting money into maybe a new school? Maybe a new shiny object, or should we be putting money maybe into our instructors? Maybe we should have more instructors so our ratios are smaller with our students. What about the new greatest equipment out there? Can we have maybe some new programs, or maybe not necessarily computer programs, but maybe hands-on equipment, or getting kids into more mentorship programs. Investing our money that we're putting into schools may be a little bit different. It's not always about the fanciest chair and the nicest building. It can also be about dropping those ratios and really investing in teachers and the instructors and the extra staff that can raise those numbers with our students.
Yeah, sometimes it is tough to get around those shiny objects, though. They're enticing,
understand that.
aren't they?
I get that, and I know you have to keep up with the Joneses sometimes, but again, I really am looking for the quality of that student. And I know that's a little bit, I've been maybe hit on that a little bit here and there, particularly with our area. We just had a big referendum in my district that did go through, and I did take a little bit of a hit on that. But again, from what I saw, it's not always the big shiny building. It can also be really putting quality instructors with extra staff and extra backing and educational programs for our staff to get those students where they need to be.
You are also in favor of vocational programs, schools within a school to help graduates earn a diploma or a certificate for a trade. How is the state doing on this? Can we do more, or are we up to par?
Well, in regards to any educational program, particularly vocationals or the technical college, that's also a great area to jump into. You know, I don't know if you look lately, but plumbers, electrician, car mechanics, it's amazing the support that they can bring into their family, the financial, it's just amazing. So not only is the university setting very important, but the tech colleges, if not as important, more important nowadays, just because it's a quicker program. And when you graduate, you can get your hands on, get in there and start working immediately. So where do I think we're at? I think we're doing a great job, but I think this is a great opportunity right now, particularly as people aren't working as much and have some time off because of COVID and some of the places closing down, where we can get in there and do even more with the tech colleges and get people in and get them with great paying jobs for their families.
We are back with more right after this, so please stay with us.